Hello, wine drinking people. Today is Saturday, September 25th. Finishing up another great week of drinking here at the Wine Watch, and we've got a couple of events on the calendar for next week. We've got our three events, rather, on Thursday night. Wow, I don't know how that happened, but we got a Banffy dinner at Mancini's. We've got two events at Cafe Max. Yes, you're reading that right. We got a cooking class, and then we have got our blending seminar with the Matzi brothers, and then our vintage Spanish tasting on Friday night, which should be fantastic. Check it out on our calendar of events, and then a lot of stuff coming up in the month of October. I don't know what I was thinking when I planned that month, but I'm going to be out like every other night. All right, well, what have I got to sell you today? Today, we've got another wine from Kermit Lynch. It seems to be Kermit Lynch wine week here. And for those of you not familiar with Kermit Lynch, one of the top importers of small boutique French and now Italian wines. We've got some new neat Italian stuff like that Sesti that we just reviewed yesterday. That's from Kermit Lynch's portfolio. And this is a wine that is from the Sauternes region of Bordeaux. And interestingly enough, it doesn't say Sauternes anywhere on the bottle there, because if you produce a dry white wine within the region of Sauternes, you have to label it simply Bordeaux Blanc. So if you're making white wine in the region of Graves or Pessac, you would label it Pessac or Graves. However, the same thing exists in Pauillac and in some other appellations. Chateau Lynch-Bages makes a white Bordeaux in Pauillac, and there is no AC for a white wine in Pauillac, so they just have to call it Bordeaux Blanc. So a little confusing to the consumer, but the most important thing is what is in the bottle. And in this bottle, we have a blend of mostly Semillon. That's the main difference between white wines that are produced, dry whites that are produced in the Sauternes region, and the ones that are produced in Graves. The most popular white wine region is that most of the wines from Graves are 80% Sauvignon Blanc and 20% Semillon, and a little bit of Muscadet thrown in there. And this one, they didn't have it on the spec sheet, but I happen to know from the winery sheet that they do have a little Muscadet. And this is a producer that used to make sweet wines. I don't know if they produce very much sweet wine there anymore. It just so happens that where the vineyard is located, they don't get enough botrytis to make great sweet wines very often. Botrytis is that noble rot that a wine grape gets in the Sauternes region that's very unique to this area, although it does happen in other parts of the world, like in Tokai in Hungary. You get that botrytis that affects the grapes and really helps you to make one of the greatest sweet wines in the world, Sauternes, and then Tokai, of course, in Hungary. But for some reason, this vineyard doesn't get a lot of it, so the owner of this property, Mr. de Bordeaux, decided that he's going to make a dry wine because he thought his dry wine's much more interesting than his sweet wines. So we happen to agree. Although I haven't had his sweet wines, his dry wine is excellent. And I love Semillon-based wines. They have a certain richness and fatness in the mid-palate that you don't see oftentimes in Sauvignon Blanc-based wines, which tend to be a little lighter. This wine has some lovely lemon citrus fruit, some lovely pear, and really a nice amount of fatness in the mid-palate, although, like I said, it's a light, refreshing white wine. So maybe the texture of skim milk, and then a nice, refreshing finish with the gravelly, flinty kind of minerality that you get from this area. And again, wonderful freshness. This is from the 2008 vintage in Bordeaux, and some pretty good wines from 2008, although the 2009 vintage seems to be overshadowing 2008 for Bordeaux. 2007 was a great vintage for whites, and unfortunately not a great vintage for reds. But check out this great little 2000 white value here. This wine is on sale for under $15 a bottle from Kermit Lynch. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasone for the Wine Watch, signing off saying, remember, always drink the